So, Modern Warfare 2 got a new DMR, a new marksman rifle, and even though I'm a little sick right now, I decided I am going to review it. I'm not going to miss a day of uploading over some, silly, trivial, awful feeling cold. This review is actually done at a good time because I don't have a lot to say, and because my throat hurts, I don't want to say a whole lot. So, let's just get into this and get it over with as fast as possible so you can go back to not using this thing. So, let's start. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic about the Tempus Torrent, but I have been using this thing a lot. I got it max leveled before reviewing it, so don't worry about that, and I am not happy with it. I do not enjoy using it as much as I was hoping that I would, and this video is going to be kind of explaining why. So the Tempus Torrent, or the SR-25, I believe is what it's based off of, is a marksman rifle that can kill in about 1 to 2 shots. One headshot out to about 50 meters, it seems like, and then 2 body shots at, pretty much any other range. I couldn't really find a range where I couldn't get, a 2-shot kill to the upper torso or even the lower torso. Just as long as I'm hitting the body, this thing was getting pretty consistent 2-shot kills. And that's really what makes this weapon usable. You are going to be able to kill people fairly fast with it if they're lined up in your sights. Now, the issue with this is that the gun is heavy and slow because it's a marksman rifle, and doesn't exactly have the fastest fire rate. I find it very hard to compete with EBRs, LMSs, or FTAC recons. It honestly just feels like a more versatile TAC-M, so if you like the SCAR DMR in this game, then this is definitely an improvement over that, except for its really bizarre firing quirk. So the LMS has a quirk where after the first shot, the second shot is going to be considerably higher, so you get an accurate first shot, and then a lot of recoil on the second shot, and then not a lot of recoil on shots after the second shot. The Tempus Torrent has a different, weirder issue. So the Tempus Torrent seems to have like 3 or 4 shots that are fairly inaccurate, and then after that, the gun just automatically, almost instantaneously recenters, and even comes down a little bit. So if you're trying to control the recoil after the first 4 shots in a spray, then you're going to start pulling down towards the enemy's lower torso and feet if you keep spraying. So let me explain this a different way. After you fire about 4 shots, your shots are going to be pretty much dead on wherever you are aiming, but it's sort of hard to keep up that fire rate because of the clunky fire rate of the gun, so it can be very jarring to be, firing and trying to spam rounds down range, and then as you're controlling the first 4, it feels really good because you're pulling down on your analog stick or mouse as you're firing those first 4 shots. And then as you're doing that, the gun then basically gets super accurate due to prolonged fire somehow, similar to the LMS, but happening at a much more awkward time. After 3 or 4 shots, it's sort of hard to plan for in a gunfight. So you're pulling your sight down, but now you don't need to anymore because the gun's perfectly accurate. So you start shooting downwards. And it makes aiming this thing while, dumping ammunition very annoying, very frustrating for me. I want to use this like an MR28 or an RSAS or some other semi-automatic sniper DMR from COD's past, but because of this weird recoil quirk, it makes it really hard for me to want to go be aggressive with it. And no matter how much recoil mitigation you put on the gun, you're just going to be slowing it down. You're still going to have to deal with very heavy recoil on the first 3 to 4 shots, and then spamming essentially becomes perfectly accurate. But again, because of the clunkier rate of fire, the likelihood that you might, not pull the trigger perfectly and reset back to that first 4-shot recoil is also very, very possible. You could be spamming thinking, okay, good, I'm gonna have perfect accuracy the longer I spam, but then you just kind of fudge the trigger a little bit and then your recoil resets and you start kicking up again. Using this offensively or more just aggressively doesn't work because of this recoil quirk, at least in my opinion. Maybe you're having a better experience than I am. Maybe you're killing all of your targets within 4 shots and you have no interest in spamming, but it just kind of blows because this gun does have a 50-round magazine option, which is kind of cool, but I don't feel like I would ever use it because prolonged fire with this thing just feels like a really weird chore. So part of me would rather just use it in a sort of long-range sniper configuration, but those first 3 or 4 shots having that extra recoil means landing a 2 or 3 shot kill at a range with a sniper scope is very also frustrating. I was trying to use this thing in Invasion, and while it was usable and doable, it just felt like I was using a really bad sniper rifle. I felt like if I had attack M or EBR, I just would have been better off all the way around. The LMS has a really aggressive niche because of its weird recoil pattern, whereas I feel like this gun's weird recoil pattern takes away its niche, and I think that's really unfortunate. So my throat is absolutely giving out right now. Here's two builds that you could use. Again, I don't think these builds are exceptional, but I definitely had fun using them. So this one is a sort of long-range sniper build that you could use in ground war and invasion or 10v10, just kind of sitting back. It definitely looks tactical and it was a lot of fun to use. I just wish it was a little bit more practical, but what are you gonna do? And then I found for more balanced gameplay, a hybrid sight, an OLEV laser, the Bore 490 muzzle, the F-Tac Ripper, and the Torrent Tac handguard. That made the gun feel probably its best. This is probably the best the gun felt for me the entire time. The recoil was much more predictable and easy to control. A hybrid sight made it so I could, hang back and pop people's heads, with the one-shot killing potential, or, swap to the red dot sight and push in for those easier two taps. So again, the gun is fun. The gun is usable. I just felt like I was using a bad version of other guns. I hope they tighten up the first 3-shot recoil on this thing. If they're gonna have this rate of fire, I think it should be a lot more accurate than it is right now. Because currently it doesn't feel very accurate and it doesn't seem to fire very fast. So again, when it comes to semi-autos, there's many other weapons I would choose over the Tempus Torrent. Maybe all of my bad opinions are because I got sick and I tried to play Call of Duty while sick and that's why. And if that's the case, then let me know down in the comment section below. Just give me a better class to use. Tell me I suck. I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear that I'm using the gun wrong. And yeah, I guess I'll see when I see you guys. It has been fun talking about this thing, and I should clarify, I do like that this is in the game. I think I'm going to use this as a fun overkill primary or something like that for larger game modes, because it is a tactical, very nice looking weapon to have. It's just not that practical. See you when I see you guys. Goodbye.